Right.
Dude,
And
I am over here at Trophy Smack headquarters. That's right. I am on the West Coast. And guess what I'm sitting next to right here? Guess what I'm sitting next to?
You're sitting next to the Trophy Smack trophy.
The Scott Fishbowl, baby. The thing.
Oh, the Scott Fishbowl. That's the bowl. I didn't even see the clear. It's the clear up top. That's the real bowl.
This is the actual Scott Fishbowl trophy. This one is for SFB 10. Doesn't have the engraving on it yet, but this is the layout. See, that's still blank. So that's going to have the winner's name on it. Yeah, this is the actual Scott Fishbowl. It's kind of crazy, right?
That's sick. How did your Scott Fishbowl team do in week 1?
Dude, it sucked, but it's okay. I had Elijah Mitchell as my running back. He got hurt. It was a couple of small things, but J.K. Dobbins is back. So I feel very confident moving forward, and hopefully Elijah Mitchell returns with enough time. So how'd yours do?
I got the win, got the double win with the median, but honestly, we needed it because we're on a little bit of life support. I have George Kittle, his injury situation. I have Chris Godwin, who got re-injured. I have T. Higgins, who got concussed. So basically, we got there through a couple of big performances. Cooper Kupp helped us out in particular in a big way. And so we're going to need to keep that going because it's a little bit dicey right now on the injury front. That's for sure. Jerry Jeudy helped as well on the Monday night.
Gator, how'd yours do?
2-0, baby. 2-0. We started off on fire. We got the median. I think I ended up third overall with points in the division. So not horrible. I mean, I had Josh Allen, so that was, picking from the 101. So I felt nervous going in, of course, from the 101, but always having that stud. As long as the injuries don't hurt me, I'll be okay. You can keep all the injuries over there, Chase.
Yeah, no, I'll take it. Last year, man, my team was decimated, but I still made it to the playoffs. Unfortunately, I fell off. So I'm hoping same sort of thing happens this year where I can at least make the playoffs, because once I make the playoffs, my team is set up to crush. Speaking of crushing, are y'all ready to start the show?
Let's go.
All right, let's go ahead and let's do this.
This is Fantasy Intervention. Intervene with your fantasy life, Shane Manila, Jakob Sanderson, and Chase Vernon.
What is up, everybody? Welcome on into another episode of Fantasy Intervention. We are here to crack down on what happened for week 1, discuss, of course, what is going to happen for week 2. I'm Chase Vernon, of course. You can find me at FF_intervention, and I'm joined by my 2 co-hosts, Jakob Sanderson. What's going on, Jacob? You guys can find him over there at FF_RTDB. And we got Gator J. You guys can find him over there on Twitter at FantasyJ77. What's going on, guys? How was your week 1? Anything to talk about? Anything that really hurt or helped your rosters?
Yeah, all the injuries actually helped me because they were not on my team.
So yeah, true.
You didn't have an injury on a single team?
No, because I have been a huge fade Najee all summer, and it worked out very well for me.
Nice, very nice. Jakob, what's up?
Man,
what's
great up, week 1 because it was great because all the good wide receivers scored a lot of points. So it was awesome. All my rosters with all of these great wide receivers and got a lot of points, and then you just put in Rex Burkhead at RB2. Life's good.
Dude, if there was ever a year to draft 0 RB and just have the strong start that we did, this was the year. I mean, you were taking Jonathan Taylor at the 101, but after that, and maybe Chris McCaffrey to an extent.
Yeah.
Okay, I was taking Jonathan Taylor. And then after that, I was taking wide receiver every single time. I had Jonathan Taylor, number 1, Justin Jefferson, number 2, Jamar Chase, number 3, Cooper Kupp, number 4. After that, it was just a mixed bag. But if you went 0 running back this year, you were happy. You felt so good.
Did you see the CEH decide to play football this past weekend? Did you see?
He did.
He only had like 4.
He did.
He had like 4 targets, but 2 of them went for the touchdown. So hey, he proved that he should have been a first rounder, right?
Dude, we talked about it, man. The dose score strikes once again. The dose score strikes once again. You guys can find it over there at fantasyintervention.com/DOCE. Judges running backs and their ability to catch passes up against certain defenses. God, man, I'm excited to kick this show off.
I think Seattle's going to be ranking pretty highly after this week.
Yeah, so I have a question for you, Jacob. Mr.
Russell dosing it up.
Mr. Russell Wilson with his 7 touchdowns.
Oh, my goodness.
Going on?
Yeah, he came a little short. Maybe if they'd thrown the ball at the goal line like I thought they would, instead of handing it off to these fumbly bumbly boos, maybe they would have won the game.
Yeah.
What a weird game, eh? That was incredible. Have you ever seen 2?
Did you just say A? I don't think I've ever heard you say A.
Yeah.
Did I say A?
Yeah,
you said A. You were pure Canadian on that one.
Yes.
Well, go Canada, go. I'm glad Shane wasn't there to see it.
That's right.
God, that was intense. He actually just messaged us in the group chat. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. But yes, Shane will be joining us here shortly. All right, let's go ahead and let's talk real quick about some standouts from this past week. Was there anybody outside of CEH that really shocked you guys with their performance? I mean, we had Robbie Anderson, who had a massive week for some weird reason, while Baker Mayfield was absolutely horrible. Was there anybody else that really stood out for you that you're like, dude, this guy is not only a must add, but he's a must acquire through trade or whatever it takes right now?
Well, I think Jerry Jeudy did exactly what we thought Jerry Jeudy was going to do. If he'd have caught a couple more of the passes that he dropped, he'd have had a lot better number.
Well, that's also what we thought he would do. He's always going to have a couple. He's going to have a couple claps. Yeah,
I was trying to skip over that so quick so you didn't catch it. It's kind of like the egg.
You see that flag behind you there, the alligator? He does that every once in a while. Yeah.
Oh, Jacob, you're horrible. You're an ass. You know that, right?
Well, I like Jerry Jeudy. I'm just saying, guy's hands, little suspect.
Yes, absolutely. But he's probably one of the best route runners out there. So
yeah, so true.
Who else you got there, Jacob? That was really surprising to you.
Maybe it wasn't surprising, but I'm just gonna bask in the glory of AJ Brown's world that we're all living in. I love what I saw in the Philadelphia Eagles. They had a 71% dropback rate in the first half. That tailed off, of course, in the second half, based on mostly the fact that they were leading by a lot for the vast majority of that second half until the Detroit garbage time comeback mode. Really everything you want to see. He comes out, he dominates, 44% target share, 28% targets per route run. Of course, hurts a lot of scrambles in there. They come out pass heavy in terms of the team level, or at least marginally above expectation, when most people were expecting to be a really negative below pass rate over expectation team. If they stay where they're at, and if AJ Brown keeps dominating targets, he's a guy that can break into that top 5 wide receiver group this year. Certainly looks so far, as much as anybody week, to be one of the stud picks of fantasy this week. I'm really, really enjoying that. I'm excited to see him primetime Monday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings.
All right, so let's go ahead and let's remind everybody in the chat that we are answering questions. If you guys do have any questions, as long as you're on youtube.com/fantasyintervention or part of the fantasy football discussion group and following the page, we can see all of your comments or questions. So make sure that you do bring those questions into the chat. We would love to answer your waiver wire questions. If you still have some, maybe a guy made it onto the waivers that got dropped today in order to pick somebody else up. We also will answer some starter sit questions to an extent. So do bring those questions into the chat. I want to know what you guys want to do with Elijah Mitchell, though, because Elijah Mitchell, he's out till at least week 8 is what we're thinking. He cannot stay healthy, or he could not stay healthy and on the field last year. Is he going to end up hurting your team more than it helps, especially when we get closer to the playoffs and you need a stud to make sure he's in your lineup and that he's not going to get hurt? It feels like it could end up just ruining your entire fantasy team in the playoffs, possibly.
Well, if he even ever gets the roll back, I mean, it's a tough spot for Elijah Mitchell. I think he's a good running back. You know, they use him in a role that they haven't really used any of the other running backs that are in their roster, and that is a credit to his talent. And he showed a lot last year, but yeah, I mean, he's had a lot of injury concerns. This certainly is the most significant since he's been in the NFL. And with these late draft capital running backs, you know, the window is open, right? I don't necessarily think that any of the running backs they have is particularly good, but if a Jeff Wilson, or especially if one of the younger guys, Tyrion Davis-Price or Jordan Mason, gets a chance to establish themselves over the next 8 weeks, you know, Elijah Mitchell isn't guaranteed anything. That's the way the NFL works. So it's a sketchy situation if you have Mitchell. Luckily, I guess what I would say, this is maybe like not the nicest thing I could say to the Mitchell drafters, but I think he was probably just a mid-range RB2 anyway. So I think you're probably going to be able to find, a decent replacement for his production, either on the waiver wire or through a trade or maybe from your bench. I think it's a survivable injury for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't have very much Elijah Mitchell shares for that reason. I was stayed away from the San Francisco backfield as much as I can. So I don't. But the question here is I was watching a little deal the other day. They said it's a grade 2, right? Strain, which as the demonstration that I saw, a doctor did a demonstration and it was a piece of paper. So if you have the regular piece of paper and it's a grade 1 strain, there's nothing wrong with it. But a grade 2 strain, for instance, is as stupid as this sounds. I'm going to do it with a piece of paper.
Love the demonstration. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is awesome.
So
I came for the demonstrations. That's what I came here for.
This is a grade 1 strain. You know, there's no damage, right? No visual damage. But a grade 2 there's some damage, right? But guess what? And this is the crazy part. This is where the doctor sucked me into this, because that's a grade 2.
Wait, the doctor did what? Oh, sucked you into it. Gotcha.
So is that. And so is that.
Damn. So you really just don't know. So grade 3 would be like all the way done, huh?
Well, I mean, they said he's going to miss 2 months, right? So whatever. That sounds like a bad one. I don't know how far into the paper that is, but that sounds like a pretty bad piece of paper to me.
Right. That was my point.
Yeah.
A grade 2, it was a rip from, an inch, or if it's whatever, 3 inches, it's all the same. You never know. So unfortunately, I think you're gonna have to go and find you another back, whether it's via trade. Hey, go get CEH, by the way. It is CEH season. It is not it's not looking good for him.
All right. So let's go ahead and let's hop on to our next segment, of course. And I do see questions coming in. We will get to our questions after this. Before we do, I do want to hop into the next segment. Before we do that, I actually want to talk about what you see behind me, which is Trophy Smack, right? TrophySmack.com. If y'all need trophies for your league, if you need championship belts, Trophy Smack has got you guys covered. We got you covered too. You can check out the trophies. They are premium. They are heavy duty. They are absolutely insane. This is the Scott Fish Bowl. It's the biggest fantasy football tournament out there. We also have the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl belt right here. Ugh. God, this thing is heavy. Sorry. It's heavy. This thing is the real deal, right? These are the championship belts that they have available on TrophySmack.com. If you guys go grab a belt, though, right? You go purchase a belt, you go purchase a trophy, and you use promo code CIRCLE when you do, you will actually get a free championship ring along with that. That's right. That's a championship ring on each one of these knuckles. You
like the ring of that?
Dude, you like the ring of that? No, but check this out. So I got a couple made while I was here. I was like, yo, can we do a couple badass rings, right? So I got this.
Ooh, a little Paps and some Busch Light, huh?
Yeah. We're getting classy up in here with some Paps and some Busch Light. It's gonna be amazing.
Come on, man. You work in LA now.
I know.
You gotta drink you have to drink like matcha for $8.50 or something like that.
But he's drinking a Coors Light out of a coffee cup.
Out of a Trophy Smack coffee cup.
Shouldn't you have like an almond milk latte or something?
I need
or
another
beet
beer
juice.
Oh God, I can't. Dude, I can't with you. All right, so let's hop on to this next segment. After this segment, we will go ahead and answer some of these questions that are in the chat. Please bring those questions to us. If you guys have anything about post waiver wire pickups, like I see in here for Robert. If you have any starter sit questions like we do with Victor over here, bring them in the chat. Let us know. We got you covered. But I want to know, is there a player that you're concerned about that you drafted early? I mean, we had Alvin Kamara, who underperformed. 9 carries, 39 yards, 3 receptions for 7 yards. His next game is up against the Buccaneers, which we know can be tough. He also has CeeDee Lamb, 11 targets, 2 receptions. Now is playing with Cooper Rush, which could absolutely be brutal. And then Montgomery, who I believe was out-snapped by Khalil Herbert. He definitely outgained
No,
him.
not even close. No, he dominated. He dominated the snaps. He just did like the least amount possible with the snaps.
I know Khalil Herbert was dominating.
Montgomery had 66% of the snaps, so he got the snaps. It's just that he got thoroughly outplayed.
Yeah, and this was something that, by the way, that we talked about with Khalil Herbert taking over. I mean, we think that Khalil Herbert could be the lead running back in this offense, and honestly, I think that Devin Duvernay could end up finishing the year ahead of Montgomery. So are there any players that you guys are overly concerned about that you want to try to get off your roster? There is no higher point. They are at their highest point right now, and you need to sell.
Okay, one for me, and it's not like I'm not panicking on this guy. Like, if I can't get anything close to what he was going for in drafts to start the year, I'll just keep him. He's a fantastic player, but I would certainly be sending out some offers with Austin Eckler. He finished the draft season at the consensus 105, going ahead of Jamar Chase, going ahead of Saquon Barkley, going ahead of DeAndre Swift, going ahead of Diggs, Adams. If I could get one of those guys for Eckler still, where someone feels like they're buying low, I would love to do that. If not, hopefully is a massive game Thursday, and maybe we see what his usage is in that one. My concern with Eckler, and he's done this, he like weirdly has bad week ones every year. So I'm trying not to panic on Eckler after another bad week one. But 49% snaps, 43% routes. That's just not good enough when you're talking about a receiving back. Sony Michelle handled the 3rd and 1 to close out the game, although Eckler did get the goal line work. We've just heard this offseason about them, wanting to use him a little bit less. And if his role starts to look more like an Aaron Jones type role, where instead of being this sort of every down back like he was last year, he's more used as pass catcher in certain situations, but he's ceding a lot of the early down work, some short yardage work to guys like Sony Michelle, who clearly wanted to get involved in a crucial situation despite just picking him up. That's probably a good plan for the Chargers. It's not going to pay off the 105. So I think if you can get one of those other guys for Eckler, I think you can divest yourself of that risk that his role is not as strong this season. Worst case, it's a lateral move. Best case, I think that could be a major win.
Has Keenan Allen been confirmed that he's out?
He is out.
Okay, so what do you think the percentage is that Eckler plays out of the slot versus, out of the backfield? Because I think it's very real that we could see 40% of his snaps coming out of the slot this week.
Well, he didn't do much last year when Keenan missed. But you never know. I think it's just going to be Josh Palmer's season.
Oh God, here we go.
It's about time.
Wasn't Josh Palmer shut out last week after DeAndre Carter put up more than he did? I don't know about all that, but that's interesting. Gator, do you have a player that you're really just nervous about that you don't want to roll forward with?
Yeah, it's CeeDee Lamb. I mean, without having Dak, even when he had Dak, it wasn't pretty. You know what I mean? So when you look at whether it was redraft or even in Dynasty, most late first was taking a Dak, was taking CD, and then trying to stack them. You're not going to have that for 8 weeks. It's just not going to be a good look. CeeDee Lamb, what was he? He was 2 of 11 for like 28 yards, something like that. It was not good. I know Tampa's defense is very, very good, but there was some passes that he should have caught. Very much like Judy. There was a lot of passes Judy should have caught. CeeDee Lamb just did not look like he was into the game. And he is supposed to be the main target getter there. Dalton Schultz is going to get his, but CeeDee Lamb was supposed to be the wide receiver 1 out of Dallas. And he just didn't look like a wide receiver 4.
Well, I do know one guy that I want to make sure that I grab off waivers because I'm actually, Eckler makes me worried a little bit. I don't think that we're going to see that high-end upside that we were hoping for out of Eckler, although we do love him over here. We want him to do well. And, he could end up smashing this week and completely changing all minds. But the reality is Joe Reed season, baby. It's Joe Reed.
He hasn't been on the team in 2 years.
Leave with the
playing in Europe.
Leave it to
He's
Jamie
still there.
something.
No, I just had.
Oh, is he still on the Chargers roster? Is that true?
Yeah. So he played
he
practice
actually
squad
is.
last year in scouting.
Oh, I had no idea.
He did
I
well.
didn't know he was still on the team.
Dude, just give him the ball. Just give him the rock, man. He'll be fine. Let's go ahead and let's answer some questions real quick. Let's go ahead and start out with Robert Astorius over here. He said, "Hey, y'all, Jarvis Landry's on the wire. I have Olave. Should I drop him and go grab Landry? It seems like Landry was getting way more targets." Let me go ahead and start out by saying I don't care about the targets as much because Jarvis Landry is never going to do anything with the targets. I mean, he's going to have to completely be the header of this offense in order to do anything because he's inefficient. He's not going to get any more efficient as his career goes on. It's only going to see a decline. Meanwhile, you have Olave, big ball potential. I'd much rather hang on to the young rook and hope that he breaks out. But I mean, week one for rookies typically isn't good anyway. So at least we're getting some sort of glimpse as to what to expect. I would not drop Olave for Jarvis Landry, though. Yeah, Jacob? Or go ahead, Jay.
No, I'd keep Olave.
Yeah, there's
higher
no way.
upside on Olave.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we have a question coming in from Victor. He asked, should he bench Aaron Rodgers for Kirk Cousins? And honestly, that was a smart choice from the beginning. I think I might have one or two shares of Aaron Rodgers in best ball where I accidentally forgot to draft, so he ended up somehow on my roster. But I don't have shares of Aaron Rodgers anywhere. Now, I don't think that Aaron Rodgers is going to disappoint every week, but we're not going to see high volume coming out of Aaron Rodgers, even when Allen Lazard does return. Kirk Cousins, meanwhile, has one of the best receivers in the NFL, if not the best. He has Adam Thielen in the slot. He has Irv Smith Jr., who's just getting worked in. Don't forget, Irv Smith Jr. is still just getting worked in. He played a very limited amount of snaps. He wasn't part of the game plan. He was just declared healthy right prior to week one, so he hasn't had any real offseason or preseason. I mean, it's Cousins. Wheels up for Cousins this year. Jacob?
Yeah, I would start Cousins. I think that's going to be a really fun game on Monday night, them and the Eagles. I think that those are the two teams that probably showed the most out of the NFC when all of the supposed top teams in the NFC I thought looked like total trash. And I'm really excited to see. I think those are two teams that I think the winner of that game, we're going to see a lot of hype on. Are they, a contender to come out of the NFC this season?
All right, Gator, you got any questions?
No.
You got any advice? Sorry, any questions?
Put this more like into, hey, get on the ground. You look at the receiving core for each of these quarterbacks, and it pretty well makes it who you should be starting. Until they prove that wide receiver core over there in Green Bay can do anything with the rookies, it's got to be Kirk Cousins.
All right, Robert comes with another question. He asks, what should he do with Aaron Jones? Has A.J. Dillon basically made him expendable? Should I try to trade him? And what value can I get for him? So, yes, Aaron Jones is expendable. He was trashed from the start. You never should have drafted him. I'm sorry, my guy. But A.J. Dillon was always the running back one over there. There's no turning back now. It's going to be A.J. Dillon season from here on out. Just letting y'all know ahead of time. You should have drafted him when he was a rookie. You should have drafted him this year in redraft leagues. A.J. Dillon is a boss, baby. Let's go. A.J. Dillon season. Let's go.
Yeah, I would definitely be keeping Aaron Jones. He was one of only two running backs who led his team in route participation this week. He played the majority of the snaps. He ran twice as many routes as A.J. Dillon. Not a good week for him. Certainly, like if you were drafting today, I would draft Aaron Jones later than his ADP was. That's absolutely certain. However, I think everybody is probably swinging even a little bit too far based on A.J. Dillon getting into the end zone, getting more targets on considerably less routes. I would be buying Aaron Jones if you can get him at a steep discount. I would not be buying him where he went in drafts.
I'm sure we'll find out later on why Chase is on this A.J. Dillon train.
Well, I think it's because he has a lot of A.J. Dillon.
I have
that's
so much
A.J.
Dillon.
Reason.
A.J. Dillon's my boy, man. We go back. He
Yeah.
calls me my fantasy guy. That's what he calls me when I'm in the chats watching his streams sometimes.
Love it.
No, you cannot.
Oh, Tom, not very long, buddy. The first chance I got to speak.
Tom,
not very long.
How long did it take for Jacob to mention AJ Brown? It was literally one of the
not
first.
Too long. Not too long. Pretty big fucking whopper on that guy. That's for sure.
Oh, dude, AJ Brown. Yeah,
that's his weighted opportunity rating, by the way. Weighted opportunity. His big foot long whopper.
Yeah, AJ
Long Whopper.
proved he could take a 3-yard slant to the house last week. I mean, he wasn't getting 15, 20-yard passes down the field. He got like 4-yard slants and he was gone.
And that's what they want.
He got one 54-yard bomb down the sideline with his hulking frame streaking down.
Okay, I missed where Hurts went to the locker room and got the slingshot then, because there's no way he threw that pass.
Would you like to see it? Would you like me to screen share the video live on air?
Are you able to watch the video as we're talking?
I can. I've watched it about 1,000 times.
Jacob was getting off to it.
Yeah, I was stroking my Whopper watching it.
Again. I just watched it 2 times. We're gonna do it again.
Oh man!
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Let's go ahead and let's discuss some of these matchups that we have for this week. I do see Ron. You have Ron. I think it's Ron. You have a question. We're going to get to that after this section. Let's go ahead and talk about some of these matchups. Now, we have an explosive opportunity, like we already brought up, from 2 of the most dynamic offenses in the NFC East. We don't really need to go into A.J. Brown and Justin Jefferson, right? Like, that's already happened. We already discussed the WAP. So, Jacob, I know how bad you want to talk about it, but let's not go that deep, if you get what I'm saying. Let's go ahead and talk about the Colts versus the Jaguars, because we don't know if Washington is actually terrible. We don't know if Washington was actually, really good and the Jaguars are really good. Meanwhile, we don't know what's going on with the Colts, because the Colts just tied the Texans. I feel like it's 2 teams. Like the Colts should have played 10 times better. And then you have the Jaguars, who might have been 10 times.
Oh, hey.
So, it's this guy. You missed all my Eagles talk, buddy. I was out here hyping the Eagles the whole half an hour that you weren't here. And now I have to leave the show in half an hour, and you're going to miss it all. Yeah, it's talking about A.J. Brown's Whopper, his weighted opportunities rating.
Look, sometimes, I'm not going to say all the time, but most of the time, a lot of the time, I'm fucking right and I'm smart. Put Target Hog in an offense where they're paying, and they traded a 1st-round pick for the guy and paid him $100 million. Pretty good chance he's going to be the first read on every fucking drop back. Anywho, I didn't mean to just come in here.
You look so professional today. You must have been at like a parent-teacher thing.
Had to go to the kids' school, and I left early.
To be clear, this is your kids' school, right? You weren't just frequenting children's schools.
Not random children's schools. Sir, do you have children here? No, I don't. I just check out the lady.
Had to do my daily round of the kids' schools.
So anyway, Washington.
Right. So is Washington? Or I'm sorry, the Jaguars versus the Colts, right? Like, are the Colts just worse than what we expected, or are they better than what we saw? Meanwhile, are the Jaguars better than we expected, or are they worse than what we expected or better than what we saw?
This sounds like a puzzle, but the Colts have not won a Week 1 game since 2012, so this is nothing new. I just they take a bye. They have 2 byes per year. They take an extra one in Week 1. Honestly, shame on the Texans and Lovie Smith for cowardly punting away the chance to actually win the game. I think that they're going to be fine against the Jaguars. I mean, the Jaguars' offense was interesting. Lawrence missed a lot of easy throws, but they moved the ball really effectively, and he also had some nice moments. I think that the Jaguars and football team, or Commanders, whatever the hell their name is, I think that they just have 2 really bad defenses. I don't know that their offenses are actually all that great.
So could we expect a high-scoring game from this one? And if so, who's going to get the touches? Is Michael Pittman going to look like the wide receiver 1 overall that we know he can be? Michael Pittman season. And guess what? There's one other season coming here in a little bit too.
I know one season that's coming that Chase is well earned.
I know. I've been dreading it this whole time.
I won't leave the show when it happens.
So are we going to see Michael Pittman perform at a high level again? What are we thinking from Ryan Hines moving forward? Is Travis Etienne? What the hell happened with that? I know that he missed a touchdown catch, but
whoa! He didn't miss a touchdown catch.
He dropped.
Trevor,
he did miss one.
Trevor Lawrence is an asshat and overthrew him because he's bad.
Not on the one
that was the first. Well, that was the first one, and then the second one. The second one, ETN like clapped away as though it was a disease.
Clap on.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. No, so are we going on ETN? Are we thinking that James Robinson actually has the main role? What's up with Christian Kirk? Give me some thoughts. Shane, you're here. Give me some thoughts on this game.
Christian Kirk. I'll have actual stats in a minute if I can actually get this to fuck up. Christian Kirk had let's hit this again. What do you see? 38% target share.
It was up there. It was mass.
It was up there. He was 31.5%, 12 targets. And surprisingly, Zay Jones actually had a really nice target share too. But Christian Kirk was one of, I think it was 14 receivers with a 30% or better target share on Sunday and Monday. I guess Thursday's included. I didn't even really look at the days. Christian Kirk looks for real. I mean, look, I made fun of the Jaguars when they gave the guy $72 million because it was a gross overpay, right? But he's a good receiver and he's going to be hyper targeted. So he's going to be a high-end wide receiver too. Now, if he was a really good wide receiver and he was to see these targets, well, then he'd be a wide receiver one. But that's not what he is. That's not what God made him. Jesus made him as a high-end wide receiver two at best. So that's what he's got to be. It's what we saw in the one game they played together, right? Him and Trevor Lawrence. He saw a target on every pass attempt that was ever made in that preseason game. It continued, and quite frankly, it makes sense. Like, because your choices are Evan Ingram, and then, like I said, Zay Jones. Zay Jones had a nice target share considering he's Zay Jones. But look, they paid Christian Kirk $72 million, right? They made him one of the highest paid wide receivers at the time. And that was quickly dwarfed by a lot of other people. So I think Kirk is for real. ETN and J-Rob, look, ETN still had a lot of the share, a lot of the opportunities. He had the snap share was pretty close. J-Rob just happened to score on his opportunities. That's literally the only difference. J-Rob looked explosive, but if you're expecting J-Rob to put up numbers every week like that on usage like that, well, then you're stupid. Or no, that's not the word I want to use. I'm sorry. You're not that bright. Because it's not going to happen. I mean, the usage is just not going to happen that way. So I'm fine with ETN. He's more explosive than James Robinson. He's the player that if it's on limited targets, limited touches, limited opportunities, if they split them like they do, then 9 times out of 10, ETN is going to be the one that comes out ahead.
All right, Gator J, give me a take on this game.
Well, I mean, I'm a huge Trevor Lawrence fan, so I have a quick question for Shane on this. As big of a Trevor Lawrence fan as I am, I watched him in college. I saw how great he was in college with Travis Etienne, with that offense. How long as a Trevor fan do I have to wait thinking that Urban Meyer just fucked him up last year?
When he joins the Canadian Football League?
Yeah, so here's the thing.
He'll excel there, I think. He'll excel north of the border.
So take it with a grain of salt, right? I did get heavily burned on Trevor Lawrence last year, right? Like I treated him like basically he was a top tier quarterback, sight unseen, well, except for his college career. But, basically I moved him into that elite tier, and that's not what he was. What you want to see is, I guess, positive progression, which technically I guess we saw Sunday. So if he keeps doing that, then, just hold on to him. At this point, like I traded him in an auction league for a first and a second rounder. But I don't know that you're going to get 23 firsts for him. So you're almost better off in most cases. So you're better off just holding them. And it's not because of the sunk cost. It's just to see, can he become what we thought he was? I mean, he was the greatest quarterback prospect in the history of football. You know what I mean? So if I'm going to bet, I'll still bet on him unless I can cash out high.
I'm trolling, but I think Lawrence is still going to be fine. Just like I think he's going to be more Matt Stafford career than Hall of Fame career.
Oh God!
That's
All right, so let's go ahead and let's talk about one more, just so that I can victory lap. Of course, before I victory lap, though, I do want to talk about the Jets. Breece Hall, somewhat of a disappointment or massive disappointment, depending on how early you drafted him. Meanwhile, Kareem Hunt, sexy as hell.
Like 10 targets. What? What?
What? Breece Hall?
Yeah.
Dude, where did he finish in terms of the rest of it? Hold on.
Don't do that. He had 10 targets, bro.
Okay. Let's go ahead and say he was
Ecstatic about Breece Hall.
Massive success. Breece
He
Hall
also-
was the best running back on the slate.
I just want to point out he did have his target share was one of the highest of any position player in the league last week, and half his runs were against stacked boxes. 50% of his runs were against stacked boxes.
Is he going to face less stacked boxes moving forward?
I don't know, but I do know this: if he sees 10 targets,
Once the lead prospect Zach Wilson comes in, nobody will be stacking the box. That's for sure.
If he sees 10 targets a week, I'm pretty sure he's going to be a running back one, and I'm going to be A-okay.
Well,
for the record, I'm pretty sure you won't see 10 targets a week.
Yeah, there's no. I mean, we could be looking at Najee Harris, who saw a massive target share early on in the season, and then all of a sudden everybody's on him for the target share, but it was just the game script that allowed that. And we've seen Baltimore before allow passes to the running back position because they don't cover it. They let you get 2 or 3 yards, and that's it. We might see that switch afterwards. So for me, Breece Hall, I'm sure he saw a target share. I'm not hopping on it. I'd much rather move off Breece Hall just based on the split backfield and the production that he saw, because guess what? He wasn't efficient. But the guy that I do want to discuss outside of Kareem Hunt is the one, the only Donovan Peoples-Jones. 3 out of 3 contested catches. He was getting yards after the catch. His ADOT wasn't great, but guess what? Jacoby Brissett can't throw downfield. This is a guy who, once Deshaun Watson comes back, could absolutely be a league winner. And since we're talking about targets, he did see 11 targets. I think he had 6 receptions, right, for 60 yards. The dude is going to be involved in this offense moving forward. And I'm excited to be here and say that. Now, he did just finish as the wide receiver 36, so he was startable in most leagues. But I'm excited where it's going to be towards the tail end of the season. Happy to have him on my roster. How do y'all feel about Donovan Peoples-Jones? We're going to start with Shane.
I mean, so I just dropped the article on fantasy data today, only for premium subscribers. So if you're poor, be going with you. But if you're a premium subscriber to fantasy data, you got to see this. He had the 4th highest target share of the fucking week, bro.
Don't bend the knee, Shane. Don't bend the knee.
I'm not. I'm just saying.
Bend the knee, Shane. Kiss my ring and bend the knee.
It's 1 week. It's 1 week. It's interesting, right? If it's 2 weeks, it's a trend. 3 weeks, it's a thing. 1 week, it is interesting. It's something to keep an eye on. I really thought David Njoku would see more targets. Somehow David Njoku was out targeted by Harrison Bryant, even though Harrison Bryant ran like 14th of the amount of snaps or routes that Njoku did, however that math works out. Look, Amari Cooper, what's working for Donovan Peoples-Jones is that on the other side of him or on the roster is a receiver like Amari Cooper, who is naturally a cuck and doesn't want to take over. Like, he wants you to have his targets.
Would you call him Amari Cucker?
Yes. He enjoys watching other men take his targets. And he allowed Donovan Peoples-Jones to do that. So look, that's
all I'm picturing is Amari Cooper in Crazy in Love as Steve Carell, and he's like, Donovan Peoples-Jones made a cuckold out of me. And I don't know, finding it hilarious.
I just that's the type of dude he is. And look, I'm not judging him. Look, we're all into our own thing. Like, whatever's your kink is your kink. It's just that's his thing, watching other dudes take his targets.
Would you consider Amari like the pimp of targets, just passing them out?
No, he's not
a pimp. He's just
he's just going to stand there and watch his target share just get absolutely railed by Donovan Peoples-Jones.
I mean, he's used to standing next to Jason Garrett on the sidelines clapping. So, I mean,
look, I'll say
we all know Jason Garrett's a cuck. So.
I don't know if we can put this clip out or not, but this really is some of the best work we've done on this show.
Gator J, you got to find a way to hook that up, brother. That feels like an Instagram, TikTok moment. Look, it's very interesting and it's encouraging, right? If you're a Donovan Peoples-Jones, I'll give him S's on all of his names. Donovan Peoples-Jones fan, you have to be excited by the fact that he absolutely was the number 1 target by a wide margin there. Now, if he comes out and does it again in week 2, then guess what? We got to think, because bad quarterbacks have this. well, good quarterbacks too, but quarterbacks have this thing where they lock on the one guy. They just, they do, especially bad quarterbacks, because they're just happy anyone wants to take a ball from them.
Oh my God.
Nothing to add to that masterpiece.
I think we got to walk away from this. Let's go ahead.
Can we answer some listener questions?
Yeah, let's get to the listener questions.
I got like 18 minutes.
I'm working on it. Okay.
All right. So we all know I have an ethics class. We went over this last week.
I know. All right. So should we leave? Jamal comes in and says, "It's been a while. How are y'all? Should I leave Zeke in as a flex? If not, should I swap him with Penny, Garrett Wilson, or Jeff Wilson for this week?"
I'd go with Zeke, but it's pretty depressing. I would be against swapping him for Penny.
Yeah, my only concern with Penny is we don't know how much Kenny Walker is going to play. I know he went from sleeper. Sleeper did let me know that he went from questionable to fully healthy. No stops in between. I don't know how I feel about sticking a rookie running back in there after Penny just had a 98% work share.
On the early downs.
Yeah, I'm fine, and this hurts. I'm fine leaving Zeke in there because just on volume alone with Cooper Rush back there, I got to believe he's going to see a ton of volume.
Yeah, you've got to leave Zeke in there. I mean, he didn't play horrible against Tampa. Tampa's just a very good team.
Fine.
And he is going to get the volume coming out of that backfield with Cooper Rush.
All right, Rowan over here asks, how much percentage of fab should I use on Curtis Samuel this week? I'm thinking 20% also. Should I be going after DPJ? Yes, sir. You should be going after DPJ 100%. Use 100% of your fab on DPJ and just leave Curtis Samuel on the waivers.
I would leave both on the waiver wire. I would save all my fab for running backs when starters with viable backups get hurt. I wouldn't be spending waiver wire money on receivers. They're a dime a dozen.
So normally Shane is the one that doesn't read the show sheet. And on the show sheet, normally Chase is the one that actually reads it. And he did not read the first line. Do not overreact. It's week one. Shane and I are agreeing here. Over there in that corner, Chase is over there overreacting to DPJ. Let's go get
DPJ season. DPJ, Michael Pittman, AJ Dillon, DeAndre Swift. Let's go.
No, I mean, look, there's reaction and there's overreactions. DPJ is an overreaction. DeAndre Swift is a reaction. AJ Dillon is a reaction. Those are all reasonable, takeaways from the week. Going all out on DPJ is just a little, crazy. But in fairness, Chase did take some shit from us last year because he kept touting them when he was doing absolutely nothing. So the guy had one good week. Let's let Chase just victory lap on it.
Dude, absolutely. And Devin Duvernay, by the way. And Devin Duvernay. You guys didn't even let me talk about Devin Duvernay on that one episode. So I'm just saying Devin Duvernay was a home run this week as well. All right, let's go ahead and hop on to our top players, our feature of the episode, where we bring up players that are outside the top 20 that we think are going to finish inside the top 10. And quarterbacks and tight ends are actually top 15. Running backs and wide receivers are outside the top 20. So let's go ahead and start out with Jay, since he did the show sheet today. Jay, who is your quarterback one that is going to finish inside the top 10 that was outside the top 15 according to the ESPN rankings?
All right, so I went super deep on this one. I went all the way back to 25, and I took Jared Goff because you would not let me take the guy I wanted. So I took Jared Goff. It was 21 of 37, 215, 2 touchdowns, an interception, and a fumble this past week. He gets rid of those turnovers, and he's going to get there. He's going up against Washington, who they gave Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars 275 in the air. So I could definitely see a 300-yard passing game if he gets rid of the turnovers with the weapons that he has and checking it down to DeAndre Swift. So I think there's definitely a chance that he is going from way back to up front.
Oh, man. Gator J, you took mine. And I didn't even realize it on the show sheet. I literally typed it right below yours.
Right.
Wait.
Are we not getting announced?
You had what? Oh, should we announce last week?
Are we not going to announce all of last week's successes?
Yeah,
I mean, one of us got 3 out of 4 in the top 12.
Yeah, you did. You nailed 3 out of 4 in the top 12. I apologize, Jacob. You ended up taking last week. Who was it?
Marcus Mariota, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Are you guys enjoying Amon-Ra St. Brown's season?
Albert O was 12. Albert O was 12, wasn't he?
4 for 4. Let's go. I think that's the name of a fantasy company.
That's actually the best results we've ever seen on the show. So congratulations.
And it involved 2 of your favorite players, Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Hey, AJ Dillon is still the GOAT, so I'll take him. I'll victory lap him. And Daniel Jones wasn't too far out there. Unfortunately, my 2 picks with Tony and Ingram were terrible. And then we had Gator J, who ended up having Michael Thomas inside the top 12 as well, or inside the top 10 as well. Thomas. Let's go ahead. Like I said, let's hop onto that one.
Shane, are you enjoying Michael Thomas' season? I think he once said that his ankle's hurt and his feelings hurt, and that he had nothing to do with them.
Everything's great now. He's fine. He's completely fine.
Oh, I have another victory lap to run on Shane. Saquon Barkley, baby. I believe it was on this show that one of us believed, the other one didn't believe.
One game.
I love it. I love it.
It's one game. Go look up the stat leaders from week 1 last year.
I will in a little bit. So let's go ahead and move on.
Go look up the Saquon Barkley.
Move on. I'm going to go ahead and take Marcus Mariota. I had Jared Goff. Gator J, you stole him from me, so I'm going Marcus Mariota this week. We just saw what the Rams or what the Bills did to the Rams. We're talking about the same exact offensive system coming over. You better believe they're going to execute the same way. Marcus Mariota should have high levels of efficiency, high rushing upside, and his receivers, especially Cordero Patterson, should be able to catch passes underneath. I think it's a perfect matchup over there for the for the Rams to get demolished by the Atlanta Falcons. I'm taking Marcus Mariota.
I'll take Justin Fields because I was going to take Marcus Mariota, then I saw Chase stole him, and then I was like, Shane's for sure going to take Justin Fields.
Look at
so I'm going to jump in there. I want my dude to run, and both him and Lance were in this monsoon game, so we didn't get to see their fantasy ceiling. Here's a stat. Justin Fields at 41% or 44% had the highest downfield throw rate of any quarterback in week 1. He runs, he throws deep. He's going to be my quarterback this week.
And I feel like you took Shane's because as soon as you said Justin Fields, Shane.
That's why I talk so fast. I can read Shane's mind. I was like, you need to take Justin Fields.
I had Justin Fields all the way there because I was looking at the one rushing quarterback left on that list because I'm always going to go there.
But Shane, I know you think.
I'm going to take Matthew Ryan. I'll take Matthew Ryan against that Jacksonville's porous defense. And then Indianapolis really didn't impress me either. So I think we might have a low-key shootout. So let's go Matthew.
All right, let's go ahead and hop on to running backs. I actually started typing this one out, and then I realized that Gator J actually took it. Go ahead, Jay. Your pick.
Yeah, I took Kareem Hunt right here.
That's a nice pick.
Yeah, so 56% snap share. Nick Chubb's 53%. Versus Nick Chubb's 53%. Hunt only had 11 attempts and 43 yards or 46 yards, but he had the touchdowns. He also went 4 for 4 on receiving, 24 yards and a touchdown. And they're going up against the vaunted New York Jets D. There's no way that any of us will say that the New York Jets are better than the Carolina Panthers on defense. So I think this right here could get ugly quick for Hunt, good for Hunt, because he's taking all of the, Chubb is taking all of the carries and all that, but Hunt is getting all of the fantasy point carries and the fantasy point targets.
High value touches.
High value. Let's go there.
All right. I'll take Devin Singletary over there up against Tennessee. We just saw what Saquon Barkley was able to do, and we all know that Devin Singletary is by far a better running back than Saquon Barkley. I can't say that with a straight face. Now, we know that Singletary
26 in blue, so.
Yeah, I mean, we saw James Cook fumble last week. He might still get some snaps this week, of course. I don't think he's going to sit in the doghouse for as long as he did last week. Zach Moss did get some premium touches, stole some premium touches away from Devin Singletary, but I still think that Devin Singletary will see the workload. Expect high efficiency up against Tennessee this year. Their secondary, it's not the worst secondary in the world. It's actually pretty good overall. However, their front seven is absolutely trash. I expect Devin Singletary to do big things up against Tennessee this week, and he's going to finish as a top 10 running back.
This feels like I'm just being gifted a free win here, but why is this guy ranked at the RB27 on ESPN? Cordero Patterson. He's an absolute full-blown bell cow. He had one of the best roles of the NFL last week. I understand it's a tough matchup against the Rams in theory. The Bills didn't seem to have much difficulty with the Rams last week. I'll take CPAT.
He's going to get a ton of targets this week. He really will.
I looked at going that route. I looked at going that route, but I saw Kareem Hunt and I was like, there's no way I can pass that up.
Yeah, last week I put all my eggs in 2 of the 4 baskets, so I decided to not pick 2 guys from the same team, especially quarterback and running back. Shane, what do you have?
I'm gonna go with Raimonde Stevenson. I got a feeling with Ty Montgomery being IR that Raimonde is going to be picking up all that receiving work, as he should. I mean, he's more fun with the ball in his hands than Damian Harris. I don't know if he's a better pass catcher. Chase can tell you that or not. I know he's more fun, but that just seems to kind of be the role that he'll be slotted for. So I think he'll absorb the Ty Montgomery catch a touchdown and roll into the end zone role.
All right. We got that set. Let's go ahead and move on to the wide receiver position. And I took a big L this past week, selecting Kadarius Toney, who played, 7 snaps. So I'll go ahead and wear this toilet bowl loser award from Trophy Smack. You guys can find it over there at trophysmack.com. Use promo code CIRCLE. When you purchase a trophy or a belt, you will receive a free $60 ring with that purchase. Once again, that's promo code CIRCLE, and you'll get a free ring with the purchase of a trophy or a belt. Make sure both are in your cart. But I got the toilet bowl in my head. Tell me who you are going to take this week, Gator J, because you got Michael Thomas last week.
Yeah, so I got a quick question, though. So with the toilet bowl, you still get a ring?
No, you don't get a ring with the toilet bowl. The toilet bowl is for the loser in the league, which you would want to purchase to control your league mates.
It's just a big ring.
Yeah, but it's for losers,
So this one here, this is where I took my prayer, my biggest reach, my come on man of the week, I would call it. This guy, 97% target share, 2 targets. I am talking about Allen Robinson. We got to do better. A 97% target share and only 2 targets. He did catch one of them for 12 yards, but the Rams have to get him more involved. They have to in order to do what they want to do.
I like it, man. I kind of like it. I don't think he's going to be involved. I don't like it. All right, let's go ahead.
Thanks for the love.
I tried. I couldn't get myself there, but as you guys know, I'm not on Allen Robinson this season, so I'm not going to start now, especially after he epically face planted last week. Oh man, it was great. And the 2 targets that he got, the second one he got was just kind of like, oh, here's a ball just because I haven't given you many today. It was on the last play of the game. For me, Shane tried to steal Cortland Sutton away from me, but I'm not going to let him have this one because the last time I did let him have one, he actually won that one. But yes, did you just copy and paste that, Shane? It looks like you literally copy and pasted that off of the show sheet. Did you copy and paste my guy?
He did, and then changed the first letter of the line.
This is why I don't look at the show sheet, because then I can't be accused of such things.
Oh my God! All right, so I am taking Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton's my dude this week. I know it was Jerry Jeudy week last week, but Cortland Sutton was still seeing some of the premium targets, some of the downfield targets as well. I think that could absolutely change up against a brutal Houston's team that just gave up a ton of points to Michael Pittman. Cortland Sutton plays the Michael Pittman role. So if Russell Wilson actually wants to do something this week, which we can't expect him to, but if he does want to do something, we should expect him to target Cortland Sutton a ton. I think that he could finish as a top 5 wide receiver, but I haven't locked it as a top 10 receiver for week 2.
Well, I guess I can't go Cortland Sutton again. I'm going to go Christian Kirk in that low-key shootout with the my dude Matthew on the other side. They're just going to be fling it up and down the field inefficiently all day. So Kirk could see another 12, 15 targets. He's going to be a PPR god this week.
All right, Jacob, what you got?
All right, I'm going to do back-to-back because then I got to run. But wide receiver, I've got Juju Smith-Schuster. He had all 8 of his targets in the first half. He got eased off after that as they just pulverized the Arizona Cardinals. But he was clearly running as the number 1 wide receiver in Kansas City. One of pretty much every wide receiver who changed teams was just crushing in week 1. And I expect that to continue in what I expect to be a shootout against the Los Angeles Chargers. And I'm bringing it back, just like Shane just did, with the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm taking Gerald Everett. They don't have Keenan Allen, and we love vacation targets on this show. We support vacation targets. Gerald Everett ran 68% of the routes week 1. That's but he really showed out. He was able to get a nice long touchdown from Justin Herbert. They're going to need to be able to find other threats in the middle of the field this week without Keenan Allen, and I expect this game, I mean, gosh, it could have so many freaking points going back and forth. So I want every piece of access that I can. Give me Juju, give me Gerald Everett. And unfortunately, I got to run to ethics here in a second, but God bless.
Jacob, where can we find you real quick?
You can find me on Twitter, FF_RTDB. You can find my latest article, week 2 version of the Hitchhiker's Guide to Running Back, posted to my Twitter account there at FF_RTDB. You can find me on this show. You can find me on the Full Tilt Dynasty podcast on Tuesdays. And you can find me with Chase, of course, this Friday.
Let's go. Let's go. All right, Jacob.
And if you go to UBC Law, you can find me in Law 468, Ethics and Professionalism in 32 minutes.
He's going to start plugging that in every episode.
Yeah.
You sure you don't want Shane to go do your class with you or for you?
I would love Shane to come to my legal ethics class. I think that would be hilarious.
Invite. I want an invite. God damn it! Zoom me in.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Later, man. All right. So, Shane, real quick, before we go on to tight ends to close out the show, Jamal does have a question for us. He wants you to rate this trade. All right. Are we doing Jalen Hurts, A.J. Dillon, Chase Claypool, for Devontae Adams, Wentz, Penny, Garrett Wilson?
There's so many questions. I'm just going to assume this is super flex. Because Jalen Hurts, I'm going to take the Jalen Hurts side. I think Wentz, what we saw last week, is an anomaly. I don't imagine that he's going to have 4 touchdowns inside the 20 this week. Just call it a hunch, because he's not that good. In case I wasn't being clear, I'm going to take Jalen Hurts because I have Jalen Hurts as a top 6 dynasty quarterback right now. So I'll take the Jalen Hurts trade. But I will say this, Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson is very nice get at wide receiver. Pennies, whatever, you throw them in. And Wentz is passable, so it's not a horrible trade. It's just I prefer Hurts because I built through my quarterbacks.
All right, let's go ahead and let's finish up with the tight end room. Go ahead, Jay, if you want to start. We're taking tight ends that are ranked outside the top 15 that can finish inside the top 10. Who you got, Jay?
Well, I kind of did what Jacob was doing there, and I went Cole Kmet right here. I think the one target in the hurricane, the monsoon, but 83% snap share, and now they're going up against Green Bay, who just got absolutely smoked in the back 7 or whatever, back 4 with the passing game of Minnesota. And I just don't see where he's only going to get 1 target this week, and I think he's probably going to get at least a touchdown to go right along with it. So yeah, I think he can get up there.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and take Conklin in this one. Conklin last week dominated the targets and the high premium targets. Saw 5 of those, 4 receptions. He only had 16 yards. He ended up having 1 touchdown. So I know that's not promising in terms of the yardage that he got. Keep in mind that the matchup up against Baltimore, their secondary, their safeties, their linebackers are loaded in coverage up against the tight end. I don't expect very many tight ends to even get a touchdown up against Baltimore. Meanwhile, he has the Cleveland Browns this week, who just let loose up against the tight end position. We're talking about an absolute massacre over here for Tyler Conklin. We're going to see a lot of focus from Denzel Ward on the outside, along with who is their other corner. Either way, we're going to see a lot of coverage on the wide receivers. I don't think that Elijah Moore and Devontae Smith are going to perform at high-end levels. That's going to leave plenty of opportunities for Tyler Conklin to hammer the rock home. Let's go Tyler Conklin this week.
I'm just going to go with Albert O. He had 6 targets last week, so it's not like he was pretty, he caught, I think 5, I'm sorry. But, for obviously low yardage, Andrew Beck, who is apparently someone that's in the NFL, stole a couple targets, which I didn't appreciate. I'm thinking Denver is going to not go back to the drawing board, but they've got to take a look at what they did on offense last week because it was disgustingly bad. And they should be embarrassed. And I'm hoping one of the things that they realize is maybe we should include Albert O more at the expense of some dude that might just be a Madden proxy.
I like it. I like it, guys. Everybody, thank you for tuning in for us, of course. Make sure you guys use promo code CIRCLE over there if you're purchasing a trophy, a belt, anything along those lines. You'll get a free ring along with the purchase of a trophy or belt. Just make sure you have them both in the same cart. We will be live again next week at 8 o'clock. Bring your questions. And of course, don't forget to join us on Sunday mornings where we have our starter sit show over there on youtube.com/fantasy intervention and fantasy football discussion over there on Facebook. So I guess Shane is already tired of us and he went ahead and left. But you can go ahead and find Shane over there at Shane is the Worst on Twitter. Gator J, you can find him over there at FantasyJ77. That's JAY77 on Twitter, of course. Jay, you want to talk about anything else before we hop off of here?
No, just real quick, you can find me here on Wednesday nights, and then you can find me over on the Going for Two. Hey, welcome back, Shane. You can find me over at the Going for Two Network tomorrow night. Dynasty Gambit. We kick it off at 7 o'clock, getting ready for the pregame. So appreciate y'all showing up.
Yep, let's do it, man. Y'all can go check out all of our content over there at youtube.com/fantasy intervention. Of course, the Dose Score, fantasyintervention.com/DOCE. You can check out all of my Twitter work over there at FF_intervention. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you all for letting us intervene with your fantasy football life. Wow.
Bye.